Welcome to Metaphysical Soul Speak. I'm your host, Alanna Fox Starks. Well, guys, this has not been my fondest day at all. I haven't slept in 2 days. Last night, my kid in California got into, we'll just say a little bit of a drama. He was okay, but his fiance was up all night and really needed my help, just kind of working through the things that had happened. He has PTSD, which makes it perfect that he's going to be my my extra kid, because my kids and I, we all have PTSD. It's stuff we've been working through from the stuff that we've been through as a result of their father dying and being homeless and just going through a bunch of crap. And I was thinking about this lady, this actress that I knew in LA a few years ago, and she and I knew each other back in the days of Avalon and the Merlin, Camelot, King Arthur story days. According to her, I don't remember it, but it doesn't mean it's not true. I just don't remember it. But she told me that she had gone through a period in which she just totally became homeless, and it was like circumstances beyond her control, which is what it was for me too. Circumstances beyond my control. And I'm like, I feel like a moron because I am the advocate for the law of attraction. You know, having seen The Secret like 20 times and watching it often, even still, and What the Bleep Do We Know, and all these great movies, and, you know, having read 20 books on the topic, and, you know, lecturing to people about it and helping people with it and trying to be positive all the time and putting my heart, mind, body, and soul into just making something of my freaking life, you know. And she said, it's not you, honey, it's not you. And it's not just karma either. It's something more. And she had met our other sisters of Avalon, she said. She said if there's like this mystical book series that was about witches in those days, like a coven that was very well known or something. And it was, you know, all fiction, but it had some ringing of truth. And she started to realize that it was several women, and she started to find these women and recognize them. And well, I started to have glimpses into that life a little bit here and a little bit there just in the past few weeks. And I'm becoming a little more aware of it now. And I had tried to talk to her on Facebook a couple weeks after I first met her, and she has an assistant who is just a real bulldog and wouldn't let me through. And I'm like, look, she's the one that told me to call her, you know, so get the message. And she never got the message to her. So I'm sure my friend just thought I blew her off. So eventually I'll figure it out. I probably have her phone number in my email or something, and I'll figure it out. But it's not always your fault, and it's not always karma when the big shit happens, you know, when that hits the fan. Like, it's just, we've all been going through it one way or another. My friend told me today his mother just sold her house today and has to move, and he feels like he's responsible for that, and like from one state, you know, halfway across the US, and other stuff that's going on in his life, and he just feels so responsible because of how he's moving his energy, and he's kind of like the shaman of the family, and he's pulling everybody up out of their crap, you know. So we're having this conversation, and while we're writing this conversation, we're texting each other. My son in a kind of a freak accident, kind of got a hairline fracture in his thumb. He bumped his thumb. He punched the floor in just this. It was just so weird. It was just in a heartbeat, this thing happened. I hadn't slept in 2 days in this condition where I'm super, super punch drunk and making fun of random things. And he's in a super serious mood. And we just fought for like hours. It was so horrible. And we came home and we didn't talk for like 20 minutes. We were just like, oh, if you think you're going to get a conversation out of me type of energy, And then finally he was just like, you made me feel like this. I didn't like it when you said this. And I'm like, well, you made me feel like this. I didn't like it when that happened. And we just like worked it out and hashed it out like super fast. And then I started realizing it was patterns from my childhood. And I'm like, oh my God, not again. This shit is happening all over again. Like, just when you think it's safe to go back into the subconscious waters, the sharks of destruction of your past come back to bite you on the ass. Damn it. It's just all that. And then last night, about 4 or 5 people added me on Instagram. Some of them as a result of someone I had added or someone that added me. And then a couple were people that I think are following the show, but I'm not quite sure yet. And then this random person who started saying like, I'm a soldier, I'm in Afghanistan, I'm looking for my true love, I'm looking for a long-term partner, blah, dee, da, dee, da. I'm like, well, I'm waiting for my twin flame. Like, I'm done with karmic relationships. Oh, but you're so beautiful. You deserve to have a man. And I'm like, dude, I deserve to have a career. I've sacrificed my whole frickin' adult life. All of it. Every flippin' day I sacrificed for having a man in my life and a relationship and compromising every damn meal and every damn movie and every damn book and every damn vacation and every place I lived and everything. And then after I didn't have these karma relationships anymore, I had my kids and I didn't have to sacrifice with them. We all grew and learned about the world together. And that was wonderful and it was fun. First time I've ever had kids. This is the end of the schematic. It's the last time I'm ever going to have kids. And it's still a frickin' sacrifice in a way. It's not as bad as the whole relationship stuff. It was just all my karmic crap. This is my clearinghouse life. My old roommate, Jennifer Holden, she's a famous actress, and we lived together for about a year and a half. And then we ended up being super close friends for years and years after. And I mean, if I ran into her tomorrow, it would still be like pick up where we left off. We just moved to different places, like physically, geographically. And that's the only thing that separated us, because we'd still be hanging out every single day if we lived in the same city. But she told me that. She's like, yeah, this is my clearinghouse life. Like, she said, it's like I've had one after another relationship that just felt like so much frickin' work. I don't know, the tone of this introduction to this show is a little on the angry side, the frustrational side. I just... and people keep trying to rope me back into this karmic relationship crap. I don't know, is this happening to you guys? Like, I have this guy that he's an amazing person. He's such a sweetheart. We went on one date like 2 or 3 months ago. He was broke AF, and I was just like, I can't handle this. While I was on a date with him, I ran into my neighbor who is a millionaire and wanted to marry me, which wasn't ever going to happen because he's not my guy. But I ran into him and he was like, there was some kind of weird mix-up and the landlord accidentally Airbnb'd his apartment and he is staying in my house for 3 days. Is that cool? And I'm like, all right, shit. Like I'm on a date with a college, university professor from another country. But sure, I'll cut my date short so I could come home to you. And I get home and he's like in my bed with a bottle of wine, has a movie queued up, like we're going to have our romantic thing. And I'm like, what the hell? Like it's so presumptuous. And it was just like, so this guy that I was on a date with, I ended up leaving his broke ass on a street corner, kissed him goodbye, got in a taxi, and came home to this other man, right? And I'm like, it's not even about the disparity in the money. I mean, the sweetest guy in the world was left standing on the corner because I had to get home to this rich guy who wasn't all that sweet, totally. Sometimes he is, sometimes he's not. Well, that guy from another country, the professor, is like, I'm going to come down. And he made it sound like he's coming here in 2 weeks to just visit, Ecuador again. And he wants to have a date again. Well, today he's asking me for money. Can I help pay for his bus ticket? And he wants to get a job here. And I'm thinking, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. That other shoe is going to be, and can I live with you until I find a job? And, can we have a relationship? And, I'll just always be there for you. And then he said something that just like pushed my inner button that really freaking irritated me. And he said, don't worry, you're not alone. And I've been feeling nothing but alone lately. And I'm like, what the hell? Yeah, I'm gonna be alone in a relationship with you in which I'm paying for freaking everything until you get on your feet. And then I'm roped into this relationship, which is completely not a partnership, not walking towards the gates of heaven together like I want to do with my twin flame. And I'm trying to build a freaking life for myself, and I'm trying to build a career for myself here. And I'm finally at that point where it's go time for me. This is my time to shine, my time to do my books, my time to do my podcast, my time to build my mailing list and move forward in the direction of my dreams. And I feel like all these people are trying to get that little karmic hook into me so that I could stop what I'm finally at 50 years old able to flip and start for myself. Finally, after I'm done with all the karmic crap and done with the sacrifices. And now my kids want to be there for me and help me in a way where as a family unit, we're moving forward in the direction of all of our collective dreams. And we're supporting each other, in a mature and emotionally intelligent way. Finally. And I'm just like, what the flock? Like the past 2 to 3 days, it's been like this. There's one person who I care deeply about. I met him about 18 months ago on a random website that I barely ever visit. He barely ever visits. It was just like we were there to meet each other. I mean, I don't think he's my twin flame. I'm pretty sure he's not. But he's like, how guys will check off the boxes for you when they're close to the one. He's like 97 out of 100 boxes checked off. Maybe 96, but I mean, so I've been kind of half putting off, I'm not going to go on a date with you. I'm not going to do that. So for like almost 2 years, I've just been like alone, waiting kind of for this guy. And he goes back to university, says, I'm going to be the kind of guy you deserve to have in your life. I'm going to be your true and correct partner. And if everything is timing right, we will be together, but in a way in which we are even or equal with each other, helping each other to learn and grow in life and not having karma together. Because I don't have any karma with this guy. I'm like, okay, yeah. Let's do that. Well, he goes back to university, and within 6 months, they eliminated the degree that he only needed 1 year for. Now he has 3 more years. He's stuck in Colombia for 2 more years. And I'm like, snap. No wonder it was all easy peasy gonna work out, because it was never gonna work out. And so he started getting back in touch with me again. Then this guy from Afghanistan, I'm looking for the love of my life, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm not her. I will help you. I will give you advice. I'll, be your friend, but I am not the woman. I'm not your lady. I'm not at all. And then he said, don't worry. And I told him, look, I'm trying to have a career, blah, blah. Oh, you deserve to have a man to take care of you. I'm like, no. 50 flipping years of my life, someone else has tried to take care of me. Every time I started to be independent, someone would swoop in to try to rescue me, and I'm tired of it. I'm a strong, confident, courageous, brave woman, and I feel like, you know what, guys? The buck stops here. I deserve to be single if I want to be. And I just feel like people keep trying to assume themselves into my life, and there's only one person right now that I want in my life, and that is my twin flame. And he's taking his freaking sweet time about it, and I'm getting pissed off at him too. But what bugs me is that I don't want to feel like I'm alone. And all of a sudden, like 3 or 4 people said, oh, you're not alone, you have me. And then they're coming in on their freaking white horse with their shining freaking, armor. And I'm like, you're trying to rescue me like I'm a damsel in distress when I'm the freaking queen of the kingdom. So, sorry, knight. I'm looking for my king now. You know what I mean? I don't know, guys. I just felt like I had to get this off my chest. Whoever this needs to reach is going to reach this person besides me, because I know that I'm not the only one going through this, like, over and over and over again. And the guy in Afghanistan says, well, I managed to have a business over here, and I'm going to send you $500,000. Can you please buy a house for me, and we'll all live together? I'm like, what the hell? I'm all, you know what? I don't want your money. I don't even want like 1% of it. Yeah, I'm trying to build my money for myself, but I don't want your money. And if you send me the money, I'm going to put it in a box under my freaking bed, and it's going to sit there until you get here. And then you're going to go off and buy your own house alone away from me, because I'm not your lady. I don't want to be. You're not that. I'm not your thing. I'm not your whatever. I am so like desperately avoiding any kind of karmic relationship while waiting for my twin that it's just putting me over the freaking edge when people start, and they're not being mean, they're being super nice, and that's just making me angrier. And I don't know why. I think it's just because I want my twin now. Universe, are you hearing me? That's the kind of day I have had, and sorry, but I'm angry, and I'm just not going to take it anymore, Earlier I was singing this song. It was hilarious. I was like, what was it? Oh, I'd love to go out walking next to my beach house by the sea. Then I come back in the evening and drink a whiskey as tall as me. Yeah, that's the energy. I mean, I'm in the hospital with my kid, and he's getting this x-ray on his hand, and it looks like there's a little hairline fracture in his thumb, and it also could just be a calcium line in the bone. The x-ray was an excellent x-ray, and it was like, socialized medicine is amazing, guys. Walked in, 15 minutes later we're walking out, and we have an x-ray in our hand, and paid $0. And he also had 6 pills of painkiller that is better than aspirin and Tylenol. But this is Ecuador, and they don't have heavier stuff. They don't have narcotics. They think it's unsafe for the people, and they don't allow it. And I'm asking the doctors, I'm like, when I was in Guatemala, I could just, for $1, my kids could go to the store and get a couple hydrocodones for me when my arthritis was acting up and I couldn't walk, because I have days like that. Today was one of those days. On top of all this other crap, I could barely walk. You know, I look good and my face looks good, but my body was so crippled. I was like hobbling like an old person. I mean, at one point, and this is hilarious, and the universe has the greatest sense of humor, not... At one point, I was literally competing to get to the door before a man who was walking just like me, and he appeared to be 30 years older than me, and he had a cane in his hand, and we're both walking identical as each other. And I'm like, oh, yeah, thanks, universe. This is just frickin' rich. Seriously, I mean, my son got mad at me because this old lady walked ahead of us, and on her pant leg in English it said the letters that spelled out the words 87. I'm all, oh, look, she can't remember her age, so it's on her pants. Just a flip remark, because I'm a Heyoka shaman. I'm constantly making jokes. I just whispered it to him, and he got like, I can't even look at you right now. I'm so angry. You're so ageist. You're so this, you're so that. And I'm like, it was a comment on a pair of pants she bought in a store. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just making fun of like a random brand that someone made. Like, it wasn't. And then I saw a guy wheeling a lady getting ready. She was prepped for surgery, and he's getting ready to put her on the, she was on a gurney, and he was waiting for the elevator, and he had a bunch of Jesus and Mary tattoos on his arm and a lot of Catholic symbols. I go, you know what? That's actually kind of a good idea if you're a doctor or anesthesiologist and you got Jesus tattoos up and down your arms. That's actually kind of a good idea, because that's the last thing these people are going to see before they pass out, before their surgery. And it might make an impression on their subconscious mind that would be a positive thing. Well, he got mad at me for mentioning that. I mean, it was just a day. And here I am 22 minutes into my introduction to the show. Getting it all off my chest, baby. But I don't know. Do you ever have days like this where you're just like angsty and everything is just like, even the nicest, sweetest things that are actually the third dimension and karma coming your way, and maybe it's the darkness trying to get their freaking hooks in you to pull you back down into the pit of fucking despair, and you're just like, no, sorry, I see what's going on, I see the matrix clearly, I am not putting up with this crap anymore, and I'm over it. And that's how I'm feeling right now. I feel like, you know what, sorry, so sorry, not going to do this crap anymore. I am moving to the fifth dimension. We have like 2 weeks, you know? And then to recognize this pattern from my stepmom, this horrible way she used to treat me, and apparently I wasn't even aware of it, and I did this to my kid today. Oh my God, I felt like I was 2 inches tall. And then when he pointed it out, I started crying, he started crying, we made up right away. But it was like, oh my God. You know, I know that some of the crap that happened to me today was because of those patterns, and some of it just happened because I think the darkness is losing. They're losers. I'm putting an L to my forehead right now because they're losers. And we are winners, and we are moving to the ascended part of our lives now. And we're still getting out those old patterns that we forgot about. But we're not going to let the darkness win. They can't win. Only the light can win. In the end, there can be only one, and that one is God, and God is the light, and we are the light, and that's where we are going. So as I say this, I look outside, and there's these really amazing puffy white storm clouds coming up. They're yellow and white and gray. And they're coming up from the other side of the mountain. And behind them are these wispy, pure pink clouds that just, they're like the color of hope. And then in front of all of them is this skull face that's dark, dark gray, and it's just busting up and breaking up as I'm talking. Oh, I love when the clouds do this and they're kind of matching my energy and showing me what I'm thinking about. It's so weird. Now the pink clouds are turning purple because I'm mentioning it. I feel like it's like I'm stuck in the third dimension again, and it's just hawking me off. And now I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh yeah, it's that pink and that purple, and that's where I'm going. That higher vibe, man. And that's where you guys are going to. We're soul family. We're soul tribe. We're going together. I mean, seriously, I'm in my warrior mode today. Damn it. That's where I'm at. That's where I am at. That's where we all need to be to fight this darkness. The darkness that's inside us, the darkness that other people have shoved down inside our subconscious minds while we were 8 years old, 5 years old. The parts of our lives where it just wasn't fair. We're going to win against all of that, guys. I'm sorry. It just makes me so mad. And you know how women can be. Kidding, sexism. We're busting all that up. All the sexism, homophobia, racism, all of it's being busted up right now. You know, it is what it is. I was looking for ideas for the show, like what am I going to do my show on today? And I'm looking through my notebook, and I came across a really old conversation that I wrote down that I had with God. And God said, your twin flame is not ready for you because you are a force to be reckoned with. You are a storm coming to his life. You are formidable and you are a warrior. And he has to let go of his ego before he gets to you. It was a conversation I had with God like last year. And I'm just like, come on, get here with me, man. Don't put on your knight's uniform, put on your king's crown, and let's go rule this damn kingdom. That's the way I feel today, guys. All right. Now it's like 30 minutes for the introduction, and, we're not even at the point where I tell you what this show is going to be about, which is we're going to change energy, transform it, transmute it right now, and this is what I'm going to talk to you guys about. I'm going to talk to you about heaven. What are all the places that you can go in heaven? What is heaven like? What is it about? Do you have to die to get there? Oh, hell no. Or should I say heaven no? No. You could go there right now. You could go there tonight. If you don't know how to astral project, you can ask your angels. You could ask your spiritual guides. You can ask your spiritual masters. You could go there tonight. And there are a couple places I'm going to mention in a few minutes. And I might just be going there tonight myself. We'll probably meet over there. Because I got some stuff I wanted, where did this come from? I want to get rid of it. That kind of thing. Well, I'm going to take a quick break. Wipe the tears from my eyes. Do you guys know that song by Angie Perez? God send me an angel from the heavens above. Send me an angel to heal my broken heart from being in love. Because all I do is sit and cry. God send me an angel. Wipe these tears from my eyes. I mean, I'm just like, before I was feeling like wistful and sentimental like a week ago. You guys remember that. If you listen to all my shows, you'll see, how this progression. And I know I'm not the only one. I'm an empath. So I was out in the community 2 days in a row, and this is what it does to me, right? This is your living proof. And I literally sat in that hospital for 15 minutes blessing people left and right. Giving them smiles, telling people babies congratulations. That's all I did. So I don't know. I mean, it's just, now I'm not sentimental about the third dimensional world anymore. Screw it. Bye. Bye. Sorry, 3D. Don't let the door hit you on the ass on the way out. I'm going to the fifth dimension now. That's where I'm at. Warrior mode. Let's go. Let's rock and roll, guys. But we could go to heaven, and we could do that right now. We could do it tonight. We could do it in meditation. So what I'm going to do is take a quick break, and when I come back, we're going to talk about heaven. Anyway, good change of energy. Go grab a few more, sips of water, I suppose. It's not going to be whiskey for sure. I'm not going to do the show while on whiskey. But I'll be right back. And stick around. This is going to be really, really interesting if you guys have never heard this info. All right. Be right back. Hey, you. Have you ever thought about having your own podcast like me? Was it even a New Year's resolution? For me, it sure was. But as I've been looking into this for months, I was daunted. There's so many questions I had. When I was trying to get this off the ground, I was wondering, how do I record the episode? How do I get it across all the platforms? How do I get my podcast on Apple Podcasts when I don't even have an iPhone? How do I get it onto Spotify and all the other places? How do I get people to listen? And how do I make money from my podcast? How do I edit it? Oh my God, I had all these questions, and I was so confused until I discovered the simple answer is Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free, and it is ridiculously easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors too, so you could get paid to podcast. All you need to do is record it. You don't have to go out and look for people to advertise on your show. They help you. So basically what I like about podcasting is I don't have to have a video of myself. You don't know if my hair is dirty or if I'm still in my pajamas or even if I'm wearing makeup. Haha. And it's so easy. I could do this from the comfort of my own home in my living room using this amazing app right from my cell phone. So easy, right? So if you've always wanted to start your own podcast and make money, by the way, doing it, please go to anchor.fm/start. That is anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters that are already using Anchor. Again, that's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast, and I can't wait to favorite you. Woohoo! Let's be broadcast podcast buddies. I'll see you there. If there's one thing I've learned from watching Harry Potter, it's that chocolate does get rid of Dementors. So my adorable son found a jar of knockoff brand Nutella. Okay, it's not called knockoff. I don't know. It's called Nasi or something. It's a million times better than Nutella, like with less fat and more protein. Well, it's just delicious. It's like the best chocolate cheesecake you've ever had in your life in a jar. Oh, God, I love Ecuador. I love the chocolate here. So I'm considerably different in energy and mood and tone. And plus, I'm recording this now like 2 hours later. So everything is cool. In fact, my son and I had an amazing talk about relationships, and he was inspired and started to write a book. So that was cool. So yesterday was my mom's birthday. I think I did mention that my birth mother, who gave me up for adoption the day I was born, yesterday was her birthday, and I was feeling a little weird and angsty about it, but then I realized I repressed that it was the day she died as well. Well, of course. And then today I was singing the song, the theme song for the Monkees. Hey, hey, we're the Monkees. People say we monkey around, but we're too busy playing to put anybody down. That song? Well, the lead singer who sang that, Mickey Dolenz, his birthday is March 8th, and my mom was playing around on the beach one day, just playing in the waves, and she turns around and the Monkees were standing right behind her. Not actual monkeys, the band, the Monkees. This is back in the 70s, and her and Mickey Dolenz ended up dating for a while. And I just thought about him, and I'm like, wait a minute, he just had a birthday. He's still alive and just turned 74. Incredible, right? Anyway, but my mom is in heaven, and that's what we're going to be talking about is heaven. I read a book a number of years ago that Sylvia Browne, who is in heaven, God rest her soul as well, God rest my mom's soul, Sylvia Browne wrote this book called Temples on the Other Side. And I'm going to go over some of the things that she talks about. And it's just super, super interesting. So in case you've missed it and didn't know it existed, go out immediately and buy this book. I'm sure you could get it used on eBay, at the very least. But this is, or even in Barnes & Noble, it's probably still for sale. This is an incredible book. It's incredible. Some of the stuff I take with a grain of salt, like, okay, to describe a building, it's all gilded and the specific statue in front or whatever. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's totally true. Maybe it was her interpretation when she went there or talked to her guide. But the basic gist of what each building's function is in heaven makes so much sense to me that it stuck with me all these years. I mean, I probably read it 10 years ago, maybe 12. And, whenever it came out, like a couple years after it came out, I read it. But it just bears repeating some of this. If you have read the book, maybe it's a refresher course. And if you've never even heard of the book, well, you're going to hear about what's in it now. And I'm going to tell you right now, there is no spoiler alerts because the book is pretty extensive. I'm going to go over the surface of what you will find in heaven when you pass away and you go over there and you are being reintegrated back into heaven society. But also, you can go there now. You don't have to die to go to heaven. You can actually go there while meditating. You could go there while you're asleep and astral projecting. You can astral project on your own up there. Have the intention, set the intention before you go to bed. You'll probably go there during your sleep. Or you can ask one of your loved ones to come and get you out of your body and pull you out. I can't really astral project by directing myself somewhere. It happens spontaneously, or I have to have someone pull me out. You can ask your holy guardian angel, your spirit guide on the other side to pull you out, or a loved one, or possibly a spiritual master that you feel particularly close to. So if it's, Yeshua or Buddha or whoever, that person can probably come and get you and take you where you need to go or want to go on the other side, because you don't have to wait to die to start working on some of the stuff that you weren't so good at. Like today, a guy was honking his horn at me and being out of control when he could have easily gone around my taxi. And that just irks me and hucks me off. And I got out and I screamed at him. And it was like, I probably could have done that better. He could have definitely done that better. He honked for like a whole minute and then drove around the taxi. So instead of creating a chaotic situation of angst, anxiety, and just straight up like anger vibe, he actually could have just, oh, oops, this taxi's stopping, and go around and wave with love. But his decision sparked even more anger in other people. And you either affect people or you infect them with every interaction. But we're going to talk about that on another day, because that is more of a relationshipy episode. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put the do not disturb on. As much as I enjoyed being interrupted by that bell just now and that hawk yesterday, which was hilariously great timing, I don't always want to get interrupted, do you? Probably not, right? All right. So you could go there anytime. You don't have to die to go to these places, but we're going to go over what these places are. Now, in heaven, there are many, many, many places set up. It's like the town square, you know. You get up there and it's not just a willy-nilly like meadow of flowers or a bunch of clouds and everyone suddenly has wings and trumpets and they're floating around eating bonbons and playing harp music, you know, which, I don't know, that might be fun for 5 minutes, but, you know, if you don't know how to play the harp, are you kind of left out? Do the other angels point and look at you funny? I don't know. And my mother, who passed away, I haven't heard from her since she died. She died years ago when I was in Mexico. So, I mean, I think in 2004 on her birthday, or 2014, sorry. So 5 years ago on her birthday, she passed away, and I've not heard from her since. Usually when a spirit goes, they will come back and be with me and talk to me. Sometimes it takes up to 3 years when they had a particularly tough exit or a hard life and they really need to be cocooned and loved and healed. It might take them a while to get back to me. And I always suspected that she didn't love me, and I started getting information from my higher guidance, higher spirit, higher self, you know, God directly. I mean, I've been asking a lot, to be honest, about her, because she gave me away for adoption and then came back into my life, and then sometimes was great and sometimes treated me like absolute crap. And I knew that it was personal patterns she had built up with her own mom, and that it really had very little to do with me because we barely knew each other. And, you know, we got to know each other over a few years' time, and then she passed away. So I don't know. I mean, I love her very much, you know, but it was just, there's a lot of weirdness there. And I've been wanting to clear it up with her, and she hasn't come back to me. And I'm like, did she just not love me at all? You know, like she just didn't give a flying fuck. You know, like she gave me away immediately and then got back in touch with me and out of embarrassment kept in, like, you know, it's like all this stuff and weirdness goes through your mind when you go through this adoption thing. It's like a massive issue, you know? So while I'm going over this heaven thing and I start thinking about what are people's weird and erroneous ideas about heaven, it dawned on me just a few minutes before I started this that my mom's idea of her perfect heaven was to go there and stare into the face of God forever. Could have stared at the sun for a couple minutes on Earth to get a taste test of that, kind of a preview. I mean, for me, 30 seconds staring at the sun was far too much, and I was kind of over it. But I just realized she's probably still staring at the face of God for the past 5 years. If that's what she wants to do, okay, cool. More power to her. I don't know. Just That's kind of an erroneous idea. One of the erroneous ideas people have of heaven. I mean, does that go on? Yes. You will get the heaven you expect. You will get the heaven you think you deserve. If you think you deserve hell, you're going to get hell. You know, if you're going to get a handsome devil, you will. If you think you deserve an ugly devil, you're going to get that too. You know, if you think you deserve an amazing heaven where only Mormons exist and you're a Mormon and you're running around a field with flocks of sheep and sunflowers, that's what you're going to get. What you expect is what you'll get, because you are a part of the creator, which makes you a creator also. And you're going to get there and create what you think you need, what you think you wanted all along. And after a while, you get bored with it, and then you move on and go, oh, wow, there's other parts to heaven, and that's cool. Heaven has a downtown. There's a town square. How cool is that? Well, what we're going to go over tonight is one version of heaven, which I think is the same for everybody once you stop floating around on your clouds or plucking wool from sheep. I don't know what people want to do on their heaven trip. It's all a trip. It's like an acid trip without doing the tab, okay? So I think that Sylvia Browne's descriptions of heaven, to me, feel really, really spot on. I hope you're going to agree with me. Now, there's a lot of halls and a lot of temples. That's the way she sees it and discussed it, temples and halls. Maybe they're not really temples. I don't know. Maybe they're bigger than a hall. I don't know. So I'm not going to describe the actual buildings. Usually they're like Greek style or Roman style is how she described them in her book. And a lot of them will have every symbol of every religion around the world, not just the big holy trinity of Judaism, Islam, and Christianity, but also things like Zoroastrianism and Zen Buddhism and more and more and more. Vedanta, Hinduism. I mean, there's like symbols from all of the world's religions and sects and cults and all that. Not the bad cults, but like the ones that the Christians call cults to make themselves feel like they're still okay and they're still in the running of number one in the world or something. I don't know why. I've seen these Christian watchdog groups for, oh, well, that's a cult. If you go to SRF, that must be a cult. If you go to BOTA, it's a cult. It's not a cult, it's a mystery school. You know, just because it's not your church doesn't make it a cult. Sorry, I don't know, the judgmental thing upsets me because don't call yourself a Christian and ignore what Jesus said. Judge not lest you be judged. So don't judge other people's religions because it's not exactly yours, while at the same time simultaneously ignoring your own religion by judging other people, which is the very thing that your person said not to do. I don't know. That's so... It just... Certain things just get me going. And it's been one of them angsty days. It's one of those lazy, crazy, angsty days of summer. Wait, that's probably not how the song goes. I've been very musical and very angry. It's been a very weird dichotomy day. I want out of the 3D. All right, in heaven, when you first die, you're bound to be a little bit like, oh crap, am I dead? Oh my God, how come I'm seeing through my body? What's happening? And why am I wearing a white robe? Or maybe you're not. Maybe you're wearing white skinny jeans. I don't think they only wear robes in heaven. That sounds insane to me. I mean, it sounds kind of comfortable, but also, not very form-fitting or even sexy. I don't think that Mae West died and decided suddenly she's not going to be sexy. I don't think Marilyn Monroe is covering up her fabulous cleavage. I'm just saying, okay? And I know I'm not gonna, so I'm sorry. Not gonna wear a robe unless it's form-fitting and fabulous and probably silk. Just saying. All right, the first place you go to when you get to heaven, the hall or temple of orientation. I know what you're thinking. Every time you went to summer camp, every time you went to high school, every time you went to any kind of new school or university, you had to attend the orientation. Every time you went to a new job, orientation. Well, heaven's no different, guys. You have to go to the orientation hall in order to kind of be reacclimated to the environment that is your true home. You're going to go there and they're going to go, okay, so here's a rundown. And then they're going to hand you this big book. And then it's just going to be like here's your book. Here's the people that you know that have died that you didn't know died. Here's the people that you died that you did know died. This is where they're staying. Here's a grid. Here's a map. Probably. I don't know. I don't remember what the orientation place looks like, let alone what they do inside. But I do know that they kind of reacclimate you and they let you know what's going on. They give you options. All right. You had a pretty crappy death and you laid in a hospital bed for the last 6 months. If you want to kind of get through that, there's a place over there. There's people waiting. Their volunteers are going to heal you, heal your soul, soothe your heart, help you get through it. You know, you want to go see your mom? She's over there. You know, that kind of thing. Now, another place that you can find is the retreat place. And that is where you're pretty much just going to go and relax. You're going to see animals. You could probably pet grizzly bears and tigers, which on the other side, they're very friendly and they're very loving and sweet. They can telepath with you to the point of mind talking, or they could just speak out loud, whatever language that you both are agreeing on at the moment. I'm thinking Aramaic might be the language. It might be English. Who knows? Maybe it's the holy light language of the angels that we don't even remember or know until we get there. Does it matter? Not really, right? As long as we all understand each other, that's more important. All right. You could also telepath with emotions and feelings over there without moving your lips, and you get a generalized feel for something. So if you have a really weird dream in which nobody is speaking and you think you may be in heaven and you wake up, that's all it was. It was just emotional telepathing, intuitive telepathing, okay? So if there's something that you need to be resolved quickly, you go to the retreat center and you get help immediately and you resolve it. So if you have like a quick little sort of, tiff with somebody, like me with this taxi driver, I might go over to the other side tonight and just kind of clear that up right quick. I don't want it to turn into karma later. I don't want it to turn into a thing or become a part of a pattern. And, there's a few other taxi drivers that have been making me upset. So it might be a pattern. If it is a pattern, then there's another place you go. I'm going to mention that in a moment. But if you just have a quick little, oh man, shouldn't have gotten mad at that person. I'm now going to go resolve it real quickly. So it doesn't fester. It doesn't turn into something. You pull a splinter out of your thumb today that you just got, it's not going to fester, it's not going to bleed or get pussy and infected, and 3 weeks later you have to go to the doctor to have it removed. Just get it removed today, spray some Bactine or put some Neosporin on that bad boy, and you're out the door, yeah? So that's pretty much what that is, that retreat, the retreat temple, basically. There's also the temple of the levels, and the levels are it's a place where new developments in every field occur. So we're at a specific section of technology right now. Well, the people on the other side are building the next generation of computers. Like the quantum computer already existed in heaven when they started to experiment with it here. Everything starts there. Then it goes to the mental plane of existence, which is the fourth dimension, and people pluck it out of the air. Hopefully the person who invented it is alive and can pluck it out of the air. And if they don't move on it quickly, there'll be 5 or 6 other people, up to 12 people at a time, will pluck an idea out of the air. And the person that gets it to the patent office on time, woo, that's the winner. But in reality, we're all the winner because, flying cars, right? Hey. in flying drone taxis. And what's the newest one? The cars that drive themselves on the road. I mean, talk about having the time of your life in the back of a car and not have to worry about your alcohol level. I'm just saying, I mean, it's going to happen. When I first heard about video phones, I told my grandma, I'm like, well, that's going to revolutionize the sex industry. Little did I know that, you know, the tricorders that Gene Roddenberry predicted were going to become handheld devices and you could be able to see people's faces. I had no idea, but boy, kind of did revolutionize it. Skype, oh my God. Yeah, I had to delete my Skype. I saw way too many things I did not want to see on that. But I digress. Okay, so another place on the other side, in heaven, if you will, is the Temple of Artistic Endeavors. And the Temple of Artistic Endeavors is where you go if you want to develop yourself in the various realms of art, music, ballet, you know, any kind of dance, or ways to express yourself that is extraordinarily creative. That is where you would go to learn how to write the great American novel, or I don't know, the great Asian novel, or the great African novel, because not all novels are about America. Well, hopefully, right? Some of the best novels I've read were from Japan. I mean, I've read some really cool ones from Japan and Africa, North Africa, Morocco. That's a really romantic place to be reading about, let me tell you. So anything creative, music, if you want to go learn the guitar, you want to be in a rock band or a rap star or whatever, you go to learn that creative endeavor in the Temple of Artistic Endeavors. Now, if you want to perform because now you're ready, that will be right next door in the Temple of the Voices. All of the performers, all of the performances, music, dance, you know, probably exhibitions, art gallery style exhibitions are there. If you were going to meet someone famous, I would have to say that the comedy stylings of Robin Williams might be heard in the Temple of the Voices. Now, probably not too far from there is where you'll find the Temple of the Lectures. Now, lectures are more serious. It's as if you're going to college, university, but you could go to astronomy, astrology, metaphysics, science, math, psychology, all of the great teachers, the teachers in all of the societies. Now, I'm not just talking since 1950 or something, all of humanity of all time. The greatest thinkers will be found in the Temple of the Lectures, and you could go and pick up a class anytime. Obviously, it's heaven, so for free. And also, since we are magical, mystical, wonderful, rainbow, unicorn, magical beings in heaven, you can bilocate. Doesn't mean you're bisexual, but you could bilocate, and you can bilocate in many different places. So say you want to go catch a Robin Williams show and laugh your heavenly butt off, you could do that while simultaneously listening to a lecture from probably a very well restored Stephen Hawking. Also, in heaven, it's important to note that we all revert to the age of around 30. I'm going to revert to the age of 29. So there. So if you do go up there and you do go to see somebody, they're not going to look like the 80-year-old man you remembered. They're not going to be the 90-year-old grandma you said goodbye to on her deathbed. Oh, no. Grandma's going to be young and hot and sexy and, maybe wearing that form-fitting gown. Sorry if that's a disturbing image, but it's kind of true. Everyone is who they really want to be, and nobody really wants to be super, super young or super, super old. If we're all kind of there in the middle around 30, it's kind of like we're all just, We're always at our best, usually around that age. You could appear younger, older, fatter, skinnier, taller, shorter, whiter, blacker, purpler, bluer. You could be whatever you want to be. It's better than the army in heaven. Be all you can be and more that you never thought you could on the planet. You could be probably a centaur, half horse, half man if you want. You could have wings. You could do whatever you want. You could experiment. You could be the great master Merlin, be a wizard today. And tomorrow you can, be Guinevere. It doesn't matter. Because everything is creative and ultimately like the best damn acid trip you ever had without the paper. So next we have is the Temple of the Mystical Travelers. And this is a place that I'm assuming I have been to many times. A mystical traveler is not somebody who reincarnates all the time on Earth. A mystical traveler is somebody who reincarnates in many different worlds. And when you get really good at the reincarnation bit, you get to reincarnate in many worlds at the same time. I just discovered that myself a few weeks back when I found out I am living simultaneously in the constellation of Orion. And then I met my neighbor about 6 months ago, and I discovered that he and I are husband and wife on another planet, also in the constellation of Orion, but a totally different planet. Totally different looking beings. And so that was weird. But a mystical traveler goes all over the galaxy, all over the universe, all over the universes, and in many different times and dimensions as God needs. We take on the mantle as mystical travelers, and as that, we do what is needed for the one will to create a better experience for everybody else. So I kind of always have been working for God. I just only realized it and consciously made that effort just in 2007, this time around, in this time, space, dimension, timeline, world, earth, that. Okay. So there's a Temple of Mystical Travelers. Also, this one is one that you have all been to, including myself, the Temple of the Spiritual Guides, Spirit Guides. You have this person who has studied you inside out, upside down, round and around for tens of thousands of years in order to be your guide this life. Good thing time doesn't exist very much in heaven. It does a little bit, but you barely notice it compared to here. Now, the Temple of your Spirit Guides is where you go to talk about your guides, talk with your guides, and talk with all of your friends and family and your loves and your soulmates and ultimately your twin flame spirit guide, because everyone has to coordinate. So you have to go there and talk to them about what's going to happen with who. And about what time, what year, what month, what week, what city. Sounds exhausting, right? Sounds exhausting because we have a finite amount of time, which is why we're moving on to the next temple. God's Messengers is the name of a temple. Temple of God's Messengers is where you're going to go if you want to go speak to Imam Ali or the Great Buddha or Sananda, Master Jesus. If you want to go speak to Mother Mary, that's where you're going to go. Kali Ma, Shiva, Ra, the sun god, the Egyptian sun god, Almighty Isis. All of God's prophets and messengers, Moses, all of them will be found in the Temple of God's Messengers. That's where you find the saints and the masters. Yeah, pretty neat and tidy, right? Makes a lot of sense. So, and by the way, praise and blessings be upon them all. I am obligated as a Muslim to say that. Okay, we also have the Hall of Research. If there are some things that you need to research about the lifetime you just lived, that's where you're going to go. Wait a minute, there was that one thing I wanted to research and I remembered that one thing. You go there, you're going to find it. Then there's the Hall of Nature. If you just want to restore your soul by petting a deer and kissing a snake, and I don't know what you're going to do in there. Maybe you're just going to watch a cat or have a conversation with an ostrich. That's where you would do it, at the Hall of Nature. Also, every variety of rose in the whole wide world is there, so who wouldn't want to spend time there every single day? Every kind of bit of nature that you want to see is there. There are no insects in heaven. That's an earthling. Don't panic. You're not going to go seeing a bunch of spiders. It's not going to freak you out. Unless you believe you belong in hell and spiders are part of your personal hell, you'll see them. Trust me, Goipnik, you're going to see them. Duh. Me? I'm not going to have that in my heaven experience. Because ew. So the next thing is the Hall of Wisdom. This is where you go to research what life on Earth is like before you ever take your first step on the 3D planet. Okay? Before you step on Mother Earth Gaia, you go to the Hall of Wisdom to discover what Earth is all about. You discover things like time and gravity and space and poisonous plants and poisonous bugs and what animals to avoid, what animals to gravitate to, you know. You're going to learn all about what life on Earth is all about, the seasons and cycles of the sun and the weather and just climates and if what's cold, what's wet, what's hot, what's dry, what's high in altitude, what does that feel like, what are you going to have to put up with? That's where you go. Find out all that information. And then after you have lived on Earth 1 or 2 or 20 million times, you can also come back and discover the general stuff in what your life was like that you just left from, to kind of get a gist of it, because then you could see it from other people's perspectives and everything else. Now, while you're here on Earth and you know about the Hall of Wisdom, anytime there's something that is particularly of interest and you want to revisit it because you were confused or didn't understand it, or it was a particularly wonderful moment, you might want to relive that first kiss with your sweetheart over and over again. Well, at the end of that first kiss, you can say, flag that. You say it in your mind or go, psst, hey, spirit guide, flag that. Put a flag on that, baby. Pin it. Put a pin in that. Put a pin in that for later. Because then when you go back over to heaven and you say, look at all the pins, look at all the flags, it's going to come up on like a computer screen. And you're going to go, oh my God, that was such a good dance. Oh, that moment that monkey escaped from the zoo and hugged me. Oh, that was great. Whatever your experiences are that you want to flag, you can do it. You can flag it. It's pretty cool. Now, you are going to also notice that there is a Hall of Justice. In the Hall of Justice is where you will go to meet after you have put together your chart, after you and your spirit guides have figured everything out, after all your soulmates have decided who's going to be who and what's going to happen between, you know, romance and friendships and weird interactions and interchanges. I mean, there are some things that you pick while you're here, and there's a lot more that you don't know that goes on behind the scenes. Well, you got to get it all approved by the Council of Elders, who incidentally appear to be, well, elderly, because that gives them the vision to you of wisdom, and that commands respect. So they don't worry about their age or what they look like or about being 30. They don't care if they look old because, well, they are the ancient council of the elders. Makes sense, right? Okay. Also, they've been called over the years the Great White Brotherhood or just the Brotherhood, the emissaries or the Council of Olders or Elders. They have all kinds of names, but they can be found in the Hall of Justice, and that's important once you get on the other side. Also, this is a super fun and exciting one, the Hall of Records. I have had dreams about being in the Hall of Records. It's just like being in the Hall of Records on, well, the Harry Potter. I think it was a Prisoner of Azkaban. I think they had the library. Well, that was very much like where I was at, 1 or 2 dreams that I had. Just looking up various things. The Hall of Records is where you're going to find your Akashic Records. Akash is buried in light pattern format, and you can read it in any format because it's heaven. Everything can be transformed immediately. But in the Hall of Records, you're going to basically know every thought you've ever thought, every word you've ever uttered, every syllable that came out of your body, from your mind, from your, I don't know, any syllable, any thought, anything, any letter. And as I'm saying this, I just left my body. So I hope there wasn't a huge gap right there on the recording, because I left my body and I just went there. Whew. That was fun. Hope the librarian there didn't see me, because that'll be an awkward conversation later. You were in and then you were out. What did you do? You didn't even check anything out. I don't know. I just get the impression that she wants to appear very, very old, like a little old librarian with a silver bun on top of her head, just because it's adorable, with the cat eye glasses and the dangly sort of gold chain around her neck that's also connected to those cat eye glasses. Lest anybody should want to steal these super old glasses and they fall off. Anyway, Akashic Records are kept in 3 places. 1, they are kept in heaven in the Hall of Records. 2, they are kept on earth. There are some very physical places in which all of the Akashic Records for the entirety, whole of humanity, are all kept together. Every thought you ever thought in any lifetime you've ever lived, every word you've ever uttered, every action you've ever performed, everything, 100% of it. The high priestess writes it on her scroll. That is the symbol of it anyway. It's all kept a record of. Nothing is ever lost in the universe. Might make you want to rethink some of your actions and delete your browsing history. Hashtag just saying. All right, just saying. The other place, the 3rd place in which the Akashic Records are stored, at least your personal Akashic Records, are in your DNA. Your DNA contains your Akashic Records for every lifetime you've ever lived. Right now. Not just everything's happened in the past 50 years or the past 30 years, but everything that's happened in the past, 20 million years. I don't know how long you've been alive, how many lifetimes you've lived in the history of this planet, but all of your Akashic Records are stored in your human body. That's a big one to fathom if you did not know that. Take your time. All right, don't take your time. We got to move on. You can also go to the Hall of Resolution. Now, you could visit there while you're on Earth, and this is going to help you to resolve your deeper issues. Like, you've been married 4 times and you've gotten divorced 4 times. It might be a deeper issue there that you just can't unravel on your own, and you don't have money to go to therapy, talk therapy for 20 years, because your therapist might not be the sharpest tool in the box, maybe. I don't know. Maybe he's the best, but maybe he doesn't see something. Well, what's going to have a perfect record of where that pattern comes from will be in heaven in what is called the Hall of Records. The Hall of Resolution, so sorry. So you will have in the Hall of Resolution the record of when things started. This does include If you have a history of alcohol abuse, if you have a history of drug abuse, where did it start? You can pull it out by the root and then no longer have that problem. But it's all there in the Hall of Resolution. In the Hall of Remembrance, which is yet another one, in the Hall of Remembrance is the deep, deep, deep-seated stuff. Like, that's where you pull out by the root all of your addictions. Okay, so you're resolving the deeper issues surrounding the addictions in the Hall of Resolution. But in the Hall of Remembrance is how you remember how it all started. You know, why are you always interrupting people? Where did that come from? Oh, look here. I was 3 years old and my parents constantly interrupted me and I didn't feel heard. I had to start talking louder, had to start screaming at that point, and had to start interrupting people to A, be like my parents, and B, be heard. Maybe that's something. For a lot of people, interrupting is a huge thing. Sometimes it's just someone's on cocaine, or speed, or 4 pots of coffee, or a hell of a lot of sugar. And sometimes it's an emotional thing, anxiety. I interrupt sometimes because I have anxiety. Feel like I'm not going to be heard. I'm a writer. My throat chakra is where I operate from to write everything and create everything that I do. Because I create it in my mind and I express it with my voice. So for me, that's an issue. But for a lot of people, not just me, all kinds of people have the interrupting thing. So you got to kind of figure it out for yourself. Why are you interrupting? You're going to find out, though, for real, in the Hall of Resolution. And how it started will be in the Hall of Remembrance. Now, for a lighter, more beautiful thing to bring up, there's also the Hall of Meditation. You can go and reflect on your life or lifetimes or your moments in heaven. You can say your prayers and hang out with wildlife. Another place you can hang out with wildlife. You could go and meditate with a wildebeest or a prairie dog. That's your choice. No one's going to judge you. It's heaven. You can visit the gardens from all over the world. All the different world's cultures will be found there in the Hall of Meditation. Flowers. You can go visit flowers. You can go to the spa in the Hall of Meditation. It will be like a spa for the soul where you will have the aromatherapy of your choice. And of course, it's heaven. Everything is free. Yay! Also, if you need a good therapy session just to kind of work out some of the harder things that you just went through in your life, or if you're still on earth and you still want to go to a good therapy session and you don't have time in your daily schedule, just go there at night. Plus, it's free. So therapy sessions can be had in the Hall of Remembrance. Now, there's the Hall of Charts. This is all about your reincarnation and how you're going to do it, where you're going to do it, what city, what state, what language, what color of your skin, what color of your hair, how fast your fingernails are going to grow, and who your best friend's going to be, what size shoe you're going to wear, and at what age are you going to start that middle-age spread and get a little fatter, and at what age you're going to lose the weight, and at what age you're going to decide that hitting the gym is probably optimal. I don't know what your chart is. I'm not reading off anything. I'm just making this up. But you know what? That's what you do there. In the Hall of Charts, you make it all up. And you got to work with your spirit guides and all the people you plan on running into in this life. And it can take 10,000 years Earth time just to put together one human life. Now you see why your life is so precious, and all the souls in the, not just heaven from Earth, but like the whole galaxy and all of the universes are clamoring to get here. That's why the population of China is exploding. Probably because Chinese food is so damn good, number one. It's got a reputation in all the universes, I'm sure. And the other thing is, Everyone just wants to be here to experience this. Ooh, especially now. Well, now that we're going in our 3D bodies, moving up to 5D, becoming less dense, and physically moving, physically ascending. Oh, this is uncalled. No one has ever done this in the whole history of the universes. We are number one in this. And we're winning. So I said in the first half of the show, right? We're winning. And that's one reason, one way. Sure doesn't feel like winning this week when, the angst happens, or last week when all the sentimental crap happens and you're crying all the time. You missed your mom hugging you when you're 4. I mean, just, this is hard, man. Give ourselves a pat on the back. Not too much that we will have hubris growing, has a hump back there, but love yourself and breathe, space, give yourself grace, give yourself space, give yourself grace, and breathe. Don't forget to breathe. Up in heaven also you will find the temple of penance. This is going to help you eliminate the bad stuff you have with other people. Those long-term high school rivalries that haven't been able to shake, and you're in your 40s and you're going back to your... Stop, breathe, go to the Hall of Penance. You can do it. Temple of Penance. Go there. Ask your guy to take you there tonight. When you go to your next high school reunion, you're not going to have that rivalry. Bygones will be bygones because, well, you've said goodbye when you've gone up to the Temple of Penance. Notice how I get so punch drunk when I haven't had sleep in 2 days? I hope this makes this a very entertaining episode. Yay for adult onset ADHD. Hall of Reconnection. All of your loved ones, your friends, your family members that you want to reconnect with, your dad that died when you were 4, go there now. Ask your holy guardian angel to bring you tonight. Go have a nice long fishing trip with your dad tonight. You can do that. I have done that. I have gone to my grandma and grandpa's log cabin. They have an old-fashioned log cabin on this beautiful river in what looks like a combination of California and Montana. And they have this big, beautiful cabin, and my dad has a separate cabin, and they're all living in a little village that they created. I go up there and go fishing with them sometimes. We hear the hawk cry. That's why I have this as my little ringtone. My hawk you guys heard yesterday. Because it reminds me of those moments. My dad goes and catches trout, and then they have breakfast together. Sometimes I've gone to heaven and had that. I also went to the Hall of Reconnection, and I went into a room with my husband that passed away right after he passed away, and we played a couple rounds on a pinball machine and then had pizza in our favorite restaurant. It's so fun. You recreate all the places you loved on earth together to have it as a nice backdrop, an ambiance, if you will, to spend that with the other person. It's so sweet. It's so special. So by all means, go to the Temple of the Reconnection anytime you want. You want to go see your long-lost Aunt Tilly every day, you can do that. I have a grandmother, an Italian grandmother from my stepmother, who loves me so much that she comes here and gives me authentic Sicilian recipes. I'm not even Italian, and I'm getting these recipes from her, and my God, I love her so much. And she was a fat cook, and she was proud of that, because never trust a skinny cook. And oh my God, her advice on making authentic Italian, I don't even ever need to go on the internet or get a recipe book, because my granny's with me every time I need that. But we don't call her granny, we call her mama. I think her name is like Mama Cecily or something. I can't really remember, Cecilia, something like that, but she is fabulous. Her cooking is, I'm kissing the ends of my fingers and going, mwah, Mamma Mia. Ooh, she's good. Okay. The hall or temple, it's the temple of healing. This is super important. If you have any kind of physical ailment, go there tonight. Go get healed. They're going to put you in a golden glass pyramid-shaped booth, I suppose. You're going to be bathed in golden white light. You're going to be on a very, very comfortable bed, and they're going to play your favorite music that will relax you and have the correct vibration for you to heal emotional, physical, spiritual, mental, anything you need to heal from, especially the physical stuff. I don't care if you have a really painful toenail, like a hangnail or a paper cut. Just go get this done. If you have cancer or lung disease or heart disease or cardiovascular issues, or you've drank too much and your liver's kind of on the fritz, go up there and be healed. It's free. It's heaven. Also, last but not least, there are the temples of the Mother God and the temples of the Father God. So if you want to get in touch with your divine masculine part of yourself or your divine feminine part of yourself, you could go to the temple of the Mother God and the temple of the Father God. So I did it. I can't believe it. I got it done in less than 1 hour. There's a whole full page of notes. And I did it. I was able to tell you. And now, by the way, this is just the very basics, scratching the surface of Temples on the Other Side by Sylvia Browne. Go buy it today. Go rent it at your library. Whatever it takes to get this information. If this has sparked curiosity and more questions than I gave answers for, by all means, do yourself an amazing favor and go read this book. It's going to bring you a great sense of comfort, and you're going to realize that not only is religion not really important to God, but all of the world's religions are represented throughout all of heaven, throughout all of the temples on the other side. Everyone is loved. Everyone is honored. If there's 1,000 people, there's 1,000 paths to God, and not one of them is wrong. Witchcraft your way to God, or Zen Buddhist master your way to God, Kung Fu your way to God, dance your way to God, sing your way to God, as long as you're getting to God and you're going to heaven, and we're going to be together someday in our home. Because that's where we truly belong. This is a vacation, guys. This is a school. This is a place of learning and experiencing for God, so that God not only has the knowledge of something, he and she also have the experience that we are bringing to the table through our part, or doing our part to give God the experience. So if you're giving God the experience of committing suicide or murder or eating a chocolate fudge cheesecake, it's all helpful and relevant, because there's nothing that's out of place. There's nothing that isn't holy. But if you are feeling suicidal, or you're feeling angsty or angry, or that crazy energy I had in that first half of the show that I was experiencing, if I'm grabbing onto it from you, let's all make a pact, and we'll go tonight. We'll go to the hall, or the temple of healing, and we're going to get it healed. And then when we recognize the patterns in ourselves, we're going to go to the Hall of Remembrance and find out where the deep-seated stuff comes from. Then we're going to go to the Hall of Resolution and resolve it all. And then we'll go to the Hall of Nature and go pet a deer and an owl and and hug a dolphin, and then come home. But that's all I got to say about that, guys. I love you with my whole heart. And we are signing off now with peace and love and joy and the high vibes of the holy fifth dimension. Until next time. Metaphysical Soul Speak is run on sponsors and listener support. This means listeners like you. If you are so inclined to support my efforts and my little podcast, please visit me at anchor.fm/metaphysical and pledge an amount of your choosing today. Thank you.